This as well, but I don't think that we should be telling women anything. I think we should be telling men not to rape women and start the conversation there. We can prevent rape by telling men not to commit it.
No, that's not right. That is not.
If you train men not to grow up to become rapists, you prevent rape.
You think you can stop? You think you can tell?
That do this. Men can stop rape. Men stopping violence. They train young men to not rape.
And you think you can stop every
The state is requesting $1 million cash surety bond.
Applause in the courtroom when a judge set a $1 million bond for a mother accused of sexually abusing her own baby.
You know, before we go any further, we need to take a minute and just warn you that this story is not one that you want your children to hear. But we do want you to know tonight that that child is safe and his mother is behind bars.
10 TV's AJ Smith is live in our newsroom with the big story tonight. AJ?
Well, Andrea and Kurt, you are right. This is a tough story, really, for anyone to hear. Ashley Jessup is charged with raping a child under the age of 13. In fact, police believe she raped her infant son.
Next is Ashley Jessup. Note the defendant has exercised constitutional right to remain silent.
Ashley Jessup stayed silent during her court arraignment one day after being arrested and charged with raping her 10-month-old son. Police say Jessup performed sex acts on the baby.
She admitted videotaping the acts and emailing the video to her boyfriend.
The woman who answered the door at Jessup's address,
"Does Ashley Jessup live here?"
said she was Jessup's mother and asked us to stop filming. The woman didn't want to comment on camera, but she tells us she's humiliated and just trying to focus on caring for her 10-month-old grandson. She says she's going to fight to be able to continue to do so. For Jessup's neighbor in this Dublin apartment complex,
it's a little disconcerting. I don't know that it really speaks for the neighborhood as a whole, but anytime you hear something like that, as abhorrent as it is, it definitely raises a few eyebrows.
Brendan Zarnt has a 14-month-old daughter himself.
I couldn't even imagine somebody doing that to a child, let alone their child, so relating to it would be completely impossible.
Impossible, but certainly punishable.
The state is requesting $1 million cash surety bond.
The judge set Jessup's bond at $1 million, and if convicted, this mother could spend the rest of her life in prison. Now, the woman we spoke to in Dublin says she is not worried about her grandson's recovery because she says he is too young to remember what happened. While she has not spoken to Jessup, she says she hopes that her daughter gets help in jail for what could be a mental illness. Now, Jessup is facing 2 felony charges of rape, but could face more charges related to making and emailing that video. AJ Smith, 10 TV News.
A 61-year-old teacher in Texas has been accused of fondling a 7-year-old student, a female student of hers. And after she was accused of doing so, she said, "There's no way I fondled that girl because I'm racist and she's black." What really happened, but the 7-year-old girl went home one day and told her mom, you know, the teacher told everyone to leave the classroom, and then she touched my private part outside of my clothing. So I don't know why a 7-year-old little girl would lie about something like that, but, you know, hopefully she stands a fair trial and we figure out what really happens.
Blacks.
What is wrong with people also. Like, the sexual assault and molestation of children, I mean, it's like it runs rampant. Like, how many times are we going to cover stories like this? And the stories get even more bizarre. Like a 61-year-old elementary school teacher, like, touching a 7-year-old girl. It just doesn't make it, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I think that the one good thing is, you know, when you cover these stories, you show that there are sexual predators among women as well. I think that there was always this huge misconception that it was mostly men. It's always the sexual deviants, they're the guys, and we need to look out for them. No, it could happen with female teachers as well, and I think that they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent, just like guys are.
Straight out to Jack Crumley, anchor News Radio 700 WLW. What happened?
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, really horrible story out of Hamilton, Ohio. The mother, Asuncion Villavilla, reported to police that her baby was missing, a 5-week-old son. She said that an ex-boyfriend took him. When police showed up, they got the feeling that something wasn't adding up, and eventually they found the child's body in a garbage can near the apartment.
To Matt Zarrell, what more can you tell me?
Baby suffered a skull fracture, a collapsed skull. Apparently, the skull had been squished. The baby also had a broken arm and was a low weight, only 9 pounds.
Joining us from News Radio 700 WLW, Jack.
Yes.
So the mom tries to direct police to who she says is the baby's father, saying the dad came to visit the baby and took him and never came back. Then they find the baby dead, 5-week-old baby boy. And the motive behind the murder is what?
Well, that's where the story took a turn. When word of the indictment got out, Ms. Villavilla is now accused of killing the child to try and cover up her relationship with the little boy's actual father, who is an underage boy, somewhere in the ages between 13 and 16.
Oh. So motive for murder is to conceal the crime of underage sex. The bio dad is a child himself. But to cover up your own child molestation, sex with a little boy, a minor?
It's just heinous, Nancy, and in all candor, as we've watched older women have sex with teenage boys and don't get punished, it's such an incredible overreaction, and obviously the most overreaction anyone can do.
You know, you really hit the nail on the head. No punishment. One adult after the next having underage sex with little boys, nothing happens. They get a slap on the wrist and off they march.
Yeah, that fear of hers is just not true. Wouldn't have happened.
You know,
Even this mother says she does not condone hitting anyone, but she says she just snapped. Snapped when she says her friend tried to blame her little boy. And she also says if a neighbor had not been there to stop her, she doesn't know what would have happened next.
And that's what triggered me. How are you going to try to flip it on my child? My son is 5 years old. He don't know nothing about nothing when it comes to no intercourse, nothing. He's 5. He's excited about going to kindergarten.
We'll call her Stacy, and it was her 5-year-old son who was allegedly molested by 42-year-old Michelle Lester, a friend who had fallen on hard times, a friend she let move in with her family less than a week ago.
What's the best part about school?
When I play with toys.
Stacy's son was looking forward to his first day of school yesterday, kindergarten. And because it was just a half day, Stacy, who was going to college, asked Michelle Lester to watch her children till she was done with classes. But when Stacy returned home, a neighbor told her something sexual may have happened between her 5-year-old boy and Michelle Lester. Stacy confronted Michelle, and that's when we're told Michelle, who was 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighs over 300 pounds, tried to blame it on Stacy's little boy.
Ultimately, she said my son tried to molest her, and that's when I hit her. I knocked her clean on her back. There's no physical way that my son could take advantage of you and your 300, almost 400 pounds. And my son is the average size of a 5-year-old. What did he do, grab a steak knife and say, give me the cookies? I mean, be for real.
Police say Michelle Lester took off the boy's pants and fondled him. She's now under arrest facing a felony, 1 count of second-degree criminal sexual conduct. And Stacy wants her story to serve as a warning to other parents.
Parents are scared to talk to their kids. Oh, they're too young, or they won't understand. Kids understand more as kids than we understand as adults if you explain it to them the way it need to be.
Done.
Despite evidence to the contrary, Huckabee maintains she did not molest Sandra. But according to prosecutors, the former Sunday school teacher drugged and strangled the second grader before putting her body in a suitcase and dumping it in a drainage pond.
No amount of explanation can make any sense out of what she did or why she did it. The only solace we have as a family is to know that she will never do this again.
Huckabee's mother, Judy Lawless, addressed Sandra's mother, Maria Chavez, in court.
From mother to mother, I'm so sorry.
Now Huckabee will spend the rest of her life in prison without the possibility of parole for killing a little girl that was a playmate of Huckabee's own young daughter.
But the prosecutor says that Huckabee was not impaired, that she was lucid and coherent when she killed the little girl. 8-year-old Sandra Cantu was last seen on surveillance tape headed for Melissa Huckabee's trailer. 8 minutes later, Huckabee is seen driving out of the trailer park headed for her grandfather's church. Stanislaus County Assistant DA Tom Testa says that's where Huckabee killed Cantu. The girl was drugged, sexually assaulted, and strangled. Coroner Bennett Omalu listed the cause of death as homicidal asphyxiation.
A Waterford woman is accused of sexually assaulting the teenage son she gave up for adoption when he was a baby. Police say Amy Sword used the internet to track down her biological son that she gave up over 10 years ago. When she found him, police say the 35-year-old mother had sex with him. She's facing 1 count of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. Right now, she's free on bond.
Lucinda Rodriguez Caldwell is a 41-year-old teacher in Texas, and she's just been sentenced to 10 years in prison for having a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old student.
It's not even close.
The way it all kind of went down was kind of amazing. The father of the 12-year-old boy noticed that his son wasn't home. And when he looked outside, he noticed that the teacher's SUV was parked in front of his home.
Yeah, that's weird. Right?
So, of course, he goes and he sees that they're both in the car, and it leads to a high-speed pursuit. And the boy, the 12-year-old boy, is driving the vehicle. She allowed him to do that.
This is disaster on top of disaster.
It is, it is. Later, cops didn't arrest her immediately, which I found a little strange, right? I feel like if it were a male, he would have been arrested immediately, but that didn't happen. Instead, the police official told the father of the son to report it to authorities, file a police report, and they did prosecute, and she will serve 10 years in prison as a result. She asked to serve the 10 years in probation as opposed to prison, but the judge refused that.
All right. Well, what do you say? 10 years makes sense?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a 41-year-old nasty, pervy guy,
yes,
you know, who had slept with a 12-year-old girl, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. In fact, the discussion we'd be having is, should it be 20 years?
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Right.
So
guilty.
Robin Pagoria walked into the courtroom in handcuffs and shackles as she faced a judge for the first time on child pornography and child abuse charges.
I'm not going to fight it.
At first, the former Polk County detention deputy declined legal counsel, but changed her mind after the judge told her she would be at a disadvantage.
No, I plan on saying not guilty or guilty or no contest. It'd be best to just have a lawyer.
I can't tell you what would be best.
In my best interest.
In terms of the result in your case, but I can tell you folks are always better represented by attorneys.
Pagoria is accused of severely whipping 2 children and filming them being spanked on her cell phone. All this allegedly happening while inside her Polk County home. Neighbors like Carlos Stewart are in disbelief.
She's very friendly. Nice neighbor. We always chatted. We shared cups of coffee out, neighborhood watch. Everybody was very friendly and upfront, and then out of the blue.
For now, Robin Pagoria finds herself on the other side of the law and waits for her day in court. Now, the state attorney's office did file a motion for a pretrial detention hearing. That's on Wednesday, June 1st at 8:30. Reporting on scene in Polk County, Ashley Jeffrey, Bay News 9.
And may now be traveling together in Kelsey Peterson's white Pontiac. An arrest warrant has been issued for the 6th grade teacher, charging her with kidnapping, child abuse, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Police nationwide have been notified about the missing pair. Joining us now is AP reporter Oscar Garcia. Oscar, thanks for taking the time. What do we know about the search?
No problem, Dan. All we know about the search right now is that they haven't found him yet, and really police aren't giving too much more than that. We just know a couple of details. We know that the kid went to the school. We know that Kelsey Peterson herself was a 6th grade math teacher at the school. It's not clear whether he took any classes from her or not, but authorities are saying that the relationship might have started about a year ago.
And they went on the run because they had been discovered, correct?
Well, the teacher was placed on administrative leave on Thursday, and her laptop was confiscated by district officials. And the pair went missing sometime either Friday night or early Saturday morning. So it was about then, and people around there are saying that it was after they were discovered. Yeah.
Not only was she sending out child pornography, but she was receiving it from somebody else. So because she was involved in the dissemination of it, I kind of focused my investigation on her. After reviewing her email contents, I noticed that she was offering herself on the internet as a prostitute. Well, as the investigation proceeded, I was chatting with her during email conversations, posing to be a John. She sent me a picture of herself and her daughter, her young daughter. Well, I thought maybe she was using her own children to produce this material. Right. I began to present myself as a photographer, and I presented her the opportunity, if she chose, to offer her children for pornographic production. She made it crystal clear that she chose to use her children for pornography. I even asked her if she ever did this sort of thing before, and she went on to describe that she had performed sexual activity on her then 5-year-old.
So when the girl was, the same girl that she was arrested for, the girl was 7 years old when you actually arrested her.
Right.
She said she performed oral sex on her daughter.
Right, when her daughter was 5, right. I asked her specifically, what kind of shoot do you want? And she replied, any kind, what you said in the email, to adult shots. I asked her how old her daughter was. She said she was 7. And I says, you know, will she be okay doing this? And she replied, well, we'll get her comfortable. Something she said, we'll give her money, we'll make her feel good about it. We'll give her like a $20 bill or something to make her feel comfortable doing this.
She's going to make her comfortable by giving her a little money.
And I said, are you sure she'll cooperate? And then she replied, I'll get her to do it.
She'll get her to do it.
Right.
Something happened before.
What?
Between her and I don't want to say, but...
Something, when you say something happened between you and your daughter, I'm a father. What happened between you and your daughter? You know, when something happens between me and my daughter, I read her a book at night. I take her out to the park and play. You know, I take her shopping.
Well, I don't want to say, something happened, I mean,
well,
I don't know how to say it.
Can I tell you what the arresting officer told me? He said that you had oral sex with your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have oral sex with your daughter? Yeah. At what age?
She was 5.
28-year-old Summer Nelson. So she was having sex with a 14-year-old boy that she was babysitting. But this case is a little different because she says that she really fell in love with him and asked for his mother's blessing so they could be a couple.
Yeah. Okay. Look, here's the deal.
Oh, we have video.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, we've obtained the video.
4 times. There she is, Summer Nelson, behind bars. Good. Investigators say told the boy's siblings, the little brother and sister, that she's in love with Big Brother. Even asked for Mom's blessing on the relationship. What? So the two could live as a couple. Oh, brother. Joining me to talk about this, Cooper Warren.
All right, this guy's getting saucy a little bit. All right.
Book, the
All right.
Celebrity. You could have Cooper back.
Okay, you know, that picture is not that, great, but you could tell from it that if she's dolled up and stuff, she looks pretty good.
No, she's a young 28-year-old girl. She's very attractive.
No. Look, come on, it's the same old thing now. Now, if people are taking it to extreme. We've done a lot of stories of like 49-year-old women with like 11-year-old boys. It's like getting crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But this is old school. This is how it should be. Like, this is the one where you go, let him go.
Really?
Because if I'm a 14-year-old boy and that 20-year-old girl wants to have sex with me, that ain't no rape. That ain't no statutory rape. That's just a good time.
She's almost 30, Jink. No, I think that the age difference is too big here. No, it's too big here. Of course you're going to rule in favor of yourself.
Let her go! Okay, now the flip side is, she has got to calm down.
If you switch the roles here,
If
it's a 28-year-old man, and he's sleeping with a 14-year-old girl, let him go?
No.
So why is there that double standard?
There just is.
No, but that's wrong. That's a type of backwards thinking that shouldn't exist.
That's right. And it does. Okay, now here, because men and women are different, okay? They just are. And I think saying that a hot 28-year-old having sex with a 14-year-old boy is a crime, that statement is a crime.
Okay, wait, let me ask you something. What is the difference? Explain the difference to me. Draw it out so I can understand.
Because the boy clearly wants it. You see what I'm saying?
And a 14-year-old girl can't clearly want it. Like, you're basically saying that a 14-year-old girl doesn't have the brain power to figure out what she does and does not want, but a 14-year-old boy does. That's what your claim is.
No, I wouldn't say that, but you're doing a good job of breaking my ass down. I just know instinctually that boys want that, because I was a 14-year-old boy. I know it. Now, if you tell me you're a 14-year-old girl and you want to make the argument that 14-year-old girls should be allowed to do whatever they want, I don't know. I wasn't a 14-year-old girl, but I have trouble with that argument. If you tell me I have a double standard and I'm not being logical, I hear you on that. But my gut says, man, it's just, you gotta you can't put her in jail. In jail? Yeah, again, if she was a teacher, you could fire her. You know, maybe the judge says, bad girl, what's the matter with you? Get out of here. Okay, but put her in jail, I can't do it. But if it's a skeevy guy with a 14-year-old girl, yeah, I can do that. I can put him in jail.
I think a 28-year-old woman could be skeevy for dating a 14-year-old boy. I don't think that the circumstances are different.
No, it's a split decision here, obviously. JR, you're on Anna's side, right? And Jesus, you're on my side? Okay. Let's bring it to the ultimate judge. We're going to need the exec producer on this one. Dave Kohler, hot 28-year-old girl, 14-year-old boy.
Let's just point out the thing that, like he said, great job of breaking his ass down, because he's obviously wrong. So then the last part that he keeps pointing out, hot. If she was fat and ugly, then it'd be a problem.
Oh, of course.
Good evening. We begin with a developing story out of Albuquerque.
Just a short time ago, sheriff's deputies arrested a 27-year-old woman for allegedly having sex with a 13-year-old neighbor boy. News 13's Michael Herzenberg is live at the sheriff's department.
Yeah, Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies just took the woman into custody at her home in the North Valley. Her name is Jeanette McGinn Parks, also known as Jeanette Madrid. Deputies believe the 13-year-old's parents are involved in a divorce, and he apparently turned to his neighbor for comfort. Investigators say she took advantage of that and had sex with the boy. Deputies believe this has been going on for more than a month. McGinn is charged with 4 counts of rape, 1 count of criminal sexual contact with a minor, 1 count of child abuse, and 1 count of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Of course, this is a developing story, and we'll have more tomorrow morning. Back to you.
All right, Michael. Deputies say McGinn is divorced with 2 daughters under the age of 10. They are now with relatives, and deputies do not believe that they were involved in any way in this incident with the mother and the boy. We'll have more details as the story unfolds tomorrow on News 13 and on KRQE.com.
Another woman charged, married in Massachusetts, teacher, charged with having sex with a 13-year-old boy who's now 16. An affair lasted for a long time. Over 300 times. Mm-hmm. That are ridiculous. Here's a news report about it.
Police call her a predator. 29-year-old Christine McCallum of Rockland now charged with several counts of statutory rape. Police say McCallum, a 5th grade teacher at the Woodsdale School in Abington, started having sex with a boy when he was 13 years old and continued for a year and a half.
During the interview of the child, he described it as approximately every other day or so.
I find it incredibly disturbing that an individual who is in that position of trust would act out against a child, and that's what this is. It's an adult versus a child.
McCallum, who's married, was arrested at her home last night. Police say several letters she wrote. She was obsessed with the boy, who is now 16.
Rape, that is very bad. You know, so she should be fired as far as I'm concerned.
I don't think that's right, no. I'd go crazy if that was, my kid.
Police say the boy's father came to them after hearing about this from his son's friends. Police say the alleged sexual encounters ended when McCallum started getting jealous.
As the young man matured, he started to develop relationships with girls of his own age, just friendship relationships, which caused a problem with Miss McCallum. She then took away his cell phone because she believed he might have been talking to other girls on that. So as she lost control of it, their relationship broke down.
Now, these stories used to be fun back in the day when the boys were like 16 or 17 and the teachers were hot. But now they've slipped out of control. The teachers are no longer hot. The boys are all the way as young as 13, and it's happening everywhere. It happens once in a while, I got it. But this is like an epidemic of female teachers having sex with young boys. Now I'm on the side of, okay, it's too far. They've gone too far. Put them away, right? And she done lost her mind, getting jealous, taking away his cell phone.
Kimberly Crane, who was a teacher in Oklahoma, a 3rd and 4th grade teacher, has decided to resign after she received criticism for hosting a panty party with her students. 5 of her female students went to this party. Now, she didn't call it a panty party. That's what the press has labeled it, but it literally was a panty party.
Did she just say, like, no, I'm not telling you to bring panties. I just need you to bring your little underwear?
No, let me give you the details on the story. So it's so disturbing. She invites 5 of her female students to come over to her house, and she says, we're going to have a pizza and Christmas decorating party.
Okay, that sounds totally innocent.
Right. And in the process of having this party, she gives them gifts of underwear.
Okay.
And they're all Christmas-themed underwear. And she says, oh, why don't we try it on? Let's.
Oh, no, end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question, man. Nobody has people trying on underwear if they're not interested in seeing them in their underwear. Okay.
It's disgusting. No, it's disgusting. So the little girls get into the underwear and they're decorating the house with Christmas decorations while they're dressed that way, and she takes pictures of them.
Oh, God, end of this. No, I'm totally guilty. This female Sandusky, did she wrestle with them? I mean, does she, like, have horseplay with them? I mean, look, that's not been charged yet, but you don't take pictures of young girls in their underwear and then go, oh, I was just kind of doing that because what? No. She was obviously interested in throwing a panty party. They're right.
And one of the little girls spoke to authorities and told them, yeah, when we're in class, oftentimes she has a Skype with an older man that has glasses by the name of Uncle G. Like, it's
what? I thought she was a lesbian, but now I think maybe it's all for the benefit of Uncle G, and she's going to show Uncle G the pictures later.
Who knows? Who knows what it is? All I know is it's disgusting, and I'm so tired of these stories. Like, we cover these stories on a regular basis, and it's happening all over the place. It has to do with a former sheriff who is now selling meth for sex, Sandusky, the pastors and the priests, and then the teachers. It's just disgusting. Like, it's all over the place, and it makes me not want to trust anyone. Like, if I had kids, I would say, oh, the teacher is inviting my 3rd grader over to the house with the other students, and they're going to decorate, the house with Christmas decorations. Sounds so innocent. I would be stupid enough to say yes, but at this point, I'd be like, hell no. Oh, you want to decorate your house with Christmas decorations? You do it with your own kids, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now, female pedophiles, there's a great deal of controversy about this. In fact, when I brought up the issue that women could sexually abuse children, I was vilified. I was cast out of the sisterhood. I was no longer a good feminist because sexual abuse had to be under the guise of male power. And if I had a significant number of women who were sexually abusing children and I knew about these women, then that messed up the male power thing. And surely if women were going to abuse children, then they had to be doing it under the thumb of a man. A man had to be telling them to do it. In over 75% of the cases, the women acted completely alone. Most times there wasn't even a man in the premises. So, the excuse, and it's interesting about us as women, because we're quite willing to accept that we are a superior breed and that we do everything right, but quite unwilling to accept that we could do anything quite as horrible as this. So it's really not us. They've been able to disguise their abuse, I think, more cleverly than men have. And society doesn't want to believe that there are female abusers. It's easier to think it's a nasty man. Women tend to use objects, broom handles, bottles. One woman said that she was sexually abused by rose stems with the thorns still on, being stuck up. Women can be quite cruel using objects, but they're still after their own sexual gratification. So it's kind of, you know, that it's just actually, it's just a physiological thing, the difference. Yeah, women who sexually abuse children like to have jobs where they're around children, nursing, teaching, daycare, things like that. You really don't think twice. I mean, most parents don't think twice about leaving their children in care of a woman. They do now think twice about leaving their child in care of a man. Again, I think that that's wrong. But there you are. That's what's happening. So they will find jobs where they can get in contact. It's like an alcoholic in a bar. Yeah. If you can possibly, if you've got an addiction, and this is an addiction, then you will go to some place that you can actually practice your addiction. And any place around kids is a good place.